And we're starting. Hi, everybody. It's been a minute. Just a quick second. Okay. Dashboard. Here we go. Create a poll is new. So I'm making sure I have everything. I hope everyone is having a good Sunday. Hope you're doing great. Let me make sure that I have sound and that it's shared to everywhere it could be. Live for some readings. Let's see. Check. Share to everyone. There we go. Alrighty. I've got stuff. So I hope everyone's doing great. Like I said, if you don't know me, my name's Ray. I'm the owner of Hearth Mama Holistics. And then it has been a while since I've done this, but I am ready to get this going. And I have auto subtitles. What? That's super cool. Let me see. No, we're not gaming. We're not gaming. All right. So a little bit about the readings that I'm going to be doing today. What I'm going to be, first of all, I'm going to be, what is it? I'm going to be experimenting with human design readings. So in case you don't know what human design is, there is a system that was created by a man who named himself Ra Uru Hu. Okay. Um, and he was given a system. Um, it's how I always like to say that receiving messages, having abilities, that kind of thing, it's all about receiving downloads, almost like you're an antenna. Um, what it is doing is it's very similar. It just takes the body as mechanics, as a circuitry. And when it's a collection of a bunch of different systems. So it includes the chakra system, not all 400 plus chakras, okay, and not just the main 7. It splits it into 9. It used to be just a 7 centered being. Now it's a 9 centered being, and we'll see in 2027 how that changes again, because we're about to have another change. So it includes the chakra system. It includes the astrological system, so our zodiacs, but not just your sun signs. It includes all your signs, and it includes the Kabbalah from Judaism, and it includes all 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. So these would be how each and every single circuit within your body, there's 64 circuits. If it would let me screen share as I go through things, that would be the best. But it's just, we're going to work with what we have here. So, what the system does then is it takes into account 64 hexagrams, it takes into account the exact time of your birth and the location, just like astrology does, but it also says that 88 degrees prior to your birth, according to astrology, okay, so is about 6 months in to the pregnancy during your gestation. It takes into account your design traits at that time. And without getting too technical with it, it's basically saying that at that time you were designed a specific way, and then the moment of your birth is when your personality comes through. Whoop. There we go. And that's when your personality comes through. And when you're bombarded with all these things, what happens is you are already under a state of conditioning. And what human design does is it tells you that this is the best way for you to live. These are the elements within your body. The personality elements are what we see on the forefront, like roads, and the design elements from 88 degrees prior to your birth are like tunnels, so you don't always see them. And making sure baby's okay. He's just kind of chilling and being quiet. And what basically happens then is, because you have all of this energy flowing through your body, it'll activate certain chakra channels within yourself. So the things that are defined are just the things that you have no matter what. But then there are some parts of ourselves that are undefined because the circuit isn't complete. And those are influenced by other people around us. We'll be drawn to other people that complete certain circuits. And when that happens, basically we can be influenced negatively or positively at that point. It really just does depend. But I find it fascinating because it kind of gives a blueprint to this is why you are the way you feel. And it can get incredibly in depth, and I love that mess. It's incredibly detailed. And I really love how just how incredibly involved it can be. So I'm going to take a look. We still don't have anybody in, and that is absolutely okay. Absolutely okay. Frame rate's good, all that fun stuff. And so we can get started. Let me see if I'm able to actually shift it to being able to show you my screen. Because if I can show you my screen, that would be cool. No, it won't let me. That's okay. That's alright. So this is what we'll do instead. There we go. So this is what we'll do. Alright. So I'll go through a little bit of what my chart is. Just to get you started. So for example, according to human design and what my chart is, I'm what's called a projector. So this is about 20%, about 21% of the population are projectors. Now, first of all, 70% of you, okay, and I know that math doesn't add up. Give me a moment. About 70% of you are what's called generators, meaning you are here to be worker bees. And not in the sense of having unfulfilling work, but in the sense of work with a purpose. There is something that you are here to work towards, and you are satisfied with doing whatever work, whatever passion you have, exhausting yourself through the day, and then falling asleep at night and waking up the next morning completely rested and just being like, go, 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 go. You're happy doing things that are more spontaneous. You're happy doing things that are more, what is it? More just work oriented. But then you have two other types. I'm sorry. Yeah, you have two other types in this world that aren't meant to be the worker bees. They're meant to be more of the teachers and the guiders. Because if we were all just here to work, there would be a problem, right? Okay, it's too many hands in the pot. So we have two types that definitely are not meant to work. Three, actually. Three that are definitely not meant to work. We have our manifestors, we have our projectors, and we have our reflectors. And all that changes is whether or not what defines you with each of these different types is two things. If you have your sacral center activated, so your sacral chakra, if that center is activated within your body, and or okay, if you have a motor connected to your throat. So there are different chakras within your body that generate energy. And if one of those is connected to your throat, so your ability to speak, and it activates that channel, then that means that would determine a certain type. So, for example, a generator would not have a motor to the throat. Okay, so all that energy that's being generated down in your solar plexus would not, or in your solar plexus, in your spleen, and or in your sacral center, any of those areas, those are our motor centers, or your root, that's also a motor center, excuse me, anything down there below the chest. If anything is activated there, but you don't have any of that hooked up to your throat, then you would be a generator. And you are here to work, 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 work. If you do have any of those activated though, and it's hooked up to your throat, you would be a manifesting generator. So not only are you here to work, 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 but you're also here to inform people because you have the ability to turn that energy into words that can be easily understood. You're not just here to ramble, and you're not here to just shut down. But you're able to actually articulate what you want to say. Real quick, just making sure I shared things. Apparently not. What? Let me see. I'm just sharing the video again, real quick. Apparently I did not post it to my page. Like to my personal page. Real quick. Y'all are super patient with me. Just making sure. Trying to make sure that this is on my actual page. There we go. Apparently it didn't do that. It shared to my group twice. Okay. So we have the generator and we have the manifesting generator, okay? And if we take away that energy from the sacral then, but keep this motor energy running to the throat, then that's when we get something called a manifester. So what a manifester does... No, I don't want to put this on my screen. It wants to cast to my TV. So what a manifester does then is they're here to inform, but they're not here to do it in a personable way. They're here to just give you the straight facts. And that's how it goes. It's not that they don't care about feelings, but you are here to give it straight information and just put it on out there. And because you have this definition to the throat, it makes it so that you are incredibly articulate and purposeful with what you say. Now, what happens if you have neither? If you have neither the sacral energy or the motor to the throat, right? Then you're not a generator, a manifesting generator, or a manifester. You're then what I am, a projector, okay? Which means that we have a focused, absorbing aura that we're able to take in this information and interpret it. And we are here, our strategy is to wait for the invitation. And we're a type of teacher like the manifester, but not in the sense of just giving the information, but in the sense that we can relate to people because we just kind of absorb their energy take it in, kind of chew it through our own system, and then we're able to help problem solve on an almost empathic level. Hello, hello. Got baby. Can you see yourself? There you are. Got baby. So that is what projectors do. That's what I do. And being a person who does readings at the same time, that does intuitive readings at the same time, that means that I have the ability to just soak into someone else's energy and almost immediately be able to tell what the problem is. And it's kind of cool, but if you're not careful, it can be incredibly overwhelming. Especially if you're around nothing but generators that are constantly going. And excuse me. Words, my defined throat is not showing. Projectors and manifestors, they need to rest more than generators and manifesting generators, because they're the constant goes. They're the busy bees. But because we are the guides and the teachers and supposed to be here to inform and help interpret for you, we're not supposed to constantly run. We need time to ourselves to just chill. And we're a lower percentage of the population, so a lot of the times it's seen as we are the lazy ones that don't want to do anything. When that's not the case, it's just that our bodies we are to be utilized in a different way. Right. And then our last one, so we've talked about our busy bees, our worker bees, which are our manifesting generators and our generators. We've talked about our teachers, or our informers, which is the manifester and the projector. And then our last one, if you have no centers defined, meaning if you look at a human design chart and you have absolutely nothing there, then you're a reflector. And these people are the hardest to try to find their place in the world, because they're just taking everything in and they're constantly impacted by everyone around them. And it's so incredibly frustrating for them. But it's in the sense of, it's hard to figure out what you want when nothing is defined for you. It just feels like you're a bunch of wires just hanging there waiting for someone to hook into you. And you don't actively go searching for someone to hook into you on purpose. It's not like projectors, that there's a joke that we are constantly looking for a plug to just plug into and just take the information and just, we want to help the person, so we're constantly looking for anybody that needs our help. But it's more in the sense of, you gotta take a much longer time. Actually, you're supposed to wait an entire moon cycle to figure out exactly what you want and what you should do in order to make sure that you are not being influenced by anyone else's energy. For a manifestor or a projector, usually you sleep on it. So, depending on your circuitry and how your system runs, it might be a little bit longer than that, but it's a good rule to sleep on it. For anybody else, any reflectors, you gotta wait a whole moon cycle, because you're constantly being influenced by other people's energy, and it can be incredibly frustrating. So, just a little breakdown of these different types. And if any of this is resonating with you, please be sure to pop a comment. Tell me how any of this feels to you, what type you might think you are, if you know what human design is, if you've had a reading before, if you're a practitioner yourself. Hi. Absolutely, pop a comment for me. And tell me what your type is, because I find it fascinating. I will hop down the rabbit hole of this consistently. And I just adore it. Hello. Do you see yourself? Hearth Mama Holistics, we have to have the babies. Hello. Do you see? You see? Hi. Hi. Silly. Oh, so I also find this incredibly fascinating because um, a lot of the research that I do, so a little bit about myself. Hello to whoever popped on. Um, whenever you, a lot of the research that I do, just to give a little bit of background, I've got a degree in theater, and I've got a degree in general education, a master's, and then I'm currently working on another master's right now because I'm crazy. If projectors, our only job was to learn, that would be the world. So instead, I'm a reader, and I'm looking over people. Um, so a little bit of the research that I personally do is I feel like there is a connection between all of this holistic stuff, all this esoteric stuff, your chakras, astrology, everything about that, tarot, divination, everything. There's a connection between that and emotion that we as human beings find cathartic. And a lot of the places that we will see things like this, hello to whoever popped on, be sure to say hi in the comments. I can see you. That because we find this so cathartic in order to see people go through all these things, and we find this obsession with trying to figure out who we are on the inside and interpreting this about ourselves. A lot of the things that we find entertaining are watching other people going through struggles. So we watch, excuse you, we watch movies and plays, and we listen to songs of people going through these really heartfelt struggles because one, it makes us feel like we're not alone, but then also we go get readings done, astrological readings, tarot readings, human design readings. Really, we go and get these things done so that we don't feel alone in the world and know that we will not always be alone. We want some kind of relatability, right? So a lot of the personal research that I do is about how to, because the people that work in these industries are entertainers, are actors, are musicians, anybody that is creative. A lot of the time, we're honestly mistreating them, okay? We mistreat these people because we want them to sacrifice themselves for their art while at the same time being these perfect beings, and that's not right. We want them to bounce from being incredibly skinny in one instance and then muscled in the next, where they have to 100% be on point all the time, and that's not human nature. We are not perfect beings in the slightest, and anybody who says that we can attain perfection must have hit a stage of enlightenment. Okay, but we will not do it in this flesh form. We have to be in an ethereal form to do that. So I find it fascinating to look at the mental state. How can we healthily take a look at our energy system, the trauma that we have gone through within our lives, emotions that we experience, and then in a healthy way, in a non-traumatic way, not just using the word healthy, but in a way that does not ensue any more mental trauma or emotional trauma or physical trauma, all that, onto your system. How can we do this using holistic systems? And I really feel like human design is one of those ways of doing that. I find it fascinating. Okay? So, if we were to take a look at myself, which I wish I could just show you, because then you would be able to see my obsession with the creative. I'm what's called split definition. So that means that my defined parts of myself are split into two different areas. I have my third eye, or my ajna center, my throat, and my G center. I don't know why this is skipping me right now. My G center, yes. or the ego center. All three of those are connected. So I'm able to process the information, put it into words, and then put the emotion behind it and know for sure that it is me whenever I'm speaking to someone. So doing these kinds of things on like lives and podcasts and stuff like that is really easy for me to do. It's how I can just flow, right? But then the other part of me is connecting my root to my solar plexus. So I have this really strong stability and emotional awareness about myself, which gets me into trouble sometimes. But because I have this all about myself, it makes it really, really fun to do these kinds of readings, because I literally have, they call it the Freak Genius channel. It's channel 43 to 23, from your third eye to your throat. So this is the Mad Scientist channel. That to the right people, this doesn't sound crazy at all. But to the people that really don't want to hear this, they're like, this chick's a little off. Okay? This chick is a little crazy. And it hooks it all together for me. So it's able, and with such a creative outlook on what I'm doing and focus on what I'm doing, basically it's just me trying to turn this information into how can I help as many people in the world as possible that have something creative about them, but they don't 100% feel like they fit. And a lot of that are parents. They don't feel like they fit. Especially, and which also makes human design really interesting, because one of the best places to use this is with parenting. And to be able to see your strengths and weaknesses as a parent, while also being able to help your children grow into the best unconditioned version of themselves, into the version of themselves that is best for their type and their energy and everything that is initially a part of their design. So for example, being a projector and how I am, and knowing I need to rest, and knowing how energy affects me, I also know that I have 3 children who are generators. And I have a husband who is a generator. And I am constantly exhausted because I have so much energy in this house. We put everybody in the same room. You can hear it in the background. It's kind of quiet right now. That's because 3 generators in the other room and 1's with me. As soon as I go into the other room and everyone is activated at the same time, okay? Because with those 3 in the other room, they don't activate everything together. They don't activate all the centers. But with me going into the room and being a guide and a person who directs all that energy, then all of a sudden everybody gravitates to me. And everybody's talking to me at the same time. And it's incredibly draining. But I know this as a parent. And then I can also see as a parent where each of my children most likely will end up. Or if they're not, or if they're conditioned, like, where they will struggle the most. I can see, the cool thing about human design is you're able to actually see the best environment for you yourself to be in, like in your general surroundings. But also, if you want to involve astrocartography into it, it makes it really, really cool, because then you can see where on this planet do I best fit? Where should I live? Which is super cool. And you don't get that using your birth date, you get that using your design date, which is 88 degrees before your birth. Okay? And then you get the place that you are designed to live. And based on everyone in your house, then you can figure out, okay, does this fit all of us? Or where can I most likely see my children end up when they get older? That kind of thing. Or, you got your bald spot in the back of your head. There's also a thing with the human design for digestion. You're able to tell what is the best way that you digest information and digest food. So it used to just be difficult to feed everybody in this house because I live with an Italian who hates Italian food. So we don't have noodles ever. He's allergic to some of the things that are involved in Italian food. Um, I've got 2 toddlers and a baby, and then I have me. But with human design, I can see what is most important in these diets. So if I have toddlers that don't want to eat, then I at least kind of know with their digestion if I need to be worried or not. Like my daughter and this one, I just know hydration is the best thing. And same thing for me, because we're all thirst. But my other kiddo, he he needs more sustenance and he needs more food more often. It doesn't matter about the, like, not something covered with a lot of spices as long as it has one really strong flavor. He needs a lot of little meals. He needs to roam around and eat it though, because his environment gets in the way. Whereas these two, him and my eldest, are more likely to sit still while they're eating. They're just going to take forever to eat. And I can also tell how they will most likely be able to sleep. And because human design lets me do that, that's really cool. As a parent, that helps me feel prepared. Hello to whoever popped on. Hope you're having an awesome day. Why do you keep growling at me? Yeah, that's what you got. And then with my husband and his digestion, then I get the tips there. Then I know whether or not food is actually a problem for him because he has issues with his stomach. But actually it matters more the time of day that he eats because he's light for his digestion. Be sure to pop a comment if you're going to watch and let me know if you would like a human design reading. I won't be able to show you because it won't let me screen share, but I will happily be able to break everything down for you. Speaking of thirst, making sure I have drinks. What are you doing? This baby is such a butt. All right. So, even if today you do not decide to get a human design reading, because honestly, as soon as you have one, so many things open up for you because it explains so many things about yourself that it can be incredibly overwhelming. But with the right person who's able to help you go to the right places and be able to digest the information in a more gentle way, like myself, like a projector, it can really open up some doors for you for no matter what it is. It can explain why you are a certain way in your relationships or why you seem to attract certain people and circumstances. It can explain mental health because there are some circuits and gates within yourself, those hexagrams like we talked about, that are more likely, they're called gates of melancholy. You're more likely to experience depressive lows or emotional lows with them. And it can help you learn how to prepare for that. And honestly, understanding yourself on this intricate of a level is so cool. Okay? And it's so awesome that it's just, once you're able to figure all this out and be able to have someone walk you through this that knows what they're doing, it can really just get you started onto a wonderful path in your life. And actually, the closer you are to your Saturn return, which is in your 30s, the more important it is that you have something like this done, because that's when your environment and your digestion really matter. Those things that, like I mentioned, those tunnels, because they're from your design, that's when those really matter the most, because then we start being affected by our environment more. and we start being affected by our digestion more. So, if you are ever inclined to receive a reading, I am more than happy to. Um, I find it, like I said, incredibly fascinating. So, being able to help people figure out the most intricate parts of yourself, it's like the ultimate personality test. It's more satisfying than looking up your entire astrological chart, which, even then, looking up your entire chart can be really fun if you know how to interpret it, because we are more than just our sun sign. We are across the entire zodiac. But then, at the same time, if we bring in the human design element, we are also chakras. And those chakras are affected by the trauma that we have been through in our lives. And then at the same time, we are each of the 64 hexagrams. And certain ones are attuned to us more than others. And then we're also the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. And we spread ourselves out. We go in search of different circuits and different people that can activate things within us and inspire us and to create amazing things and to live our best designed life. So, if this is something that is calling to you, I can't wait to see you again soon. And if not, I really appreciate you allowing me to extend this invitation for you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, even after this live, I am more than happy to come back and answer. We'll make this a regular thing to come on and either talk about human design or to come on and talk about readings, just your free readings, whatever it is. I really hope all of you have a fabulous day. And I hope that you live your best deconditioned life. Bye.